There was some really interesting news yesterday that came out about somebody that wanted to get out from the team that they're on right now. And I think that they might be able to help the Colts. And that person is going to be Derek Barnett, defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles. Because we know as Colts fans, basically since Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney were here, we've needed to upgrade the pass rush. It just hasn't been the same. We haven't had an elite pass rusher here in such a long time. And it's not that Derek Barnett is elite, right? Like you look at Derek Barnett's career. Okay, he's had 45 starts in his career and he's played in 65 games. And through all those games, he has 21 and a half career sacks and 36 tackles for loss. Okay, so those are pretty modest numbers for somebody who's been in the league since 2017. But at this point, he is a veteran, but he's still young enough that it would make sense to trade for him, right? He's only 27 years old. And another reason his age is going to matter is because he's coming off of a season where he tore his ACL in week one last year playing for the Eagles. So if this was a guy that was 29, 30, 31, it'd be a little more concerning. But this is a guy who's already, getting it going through training camp and the preseason with the Eagles. So he's going to be ready to go. And at the end of the day, I think he's somebody that can bring consistency to the defensive line, right? Again, not a star guy, right? Not one of the best pass rushers in the league, but consistent, and you know what you get with him, because if you look at his career, as his career goes on, the QB hurries number and the pressures number, both of those have gone up, right? If you look at, the advanced metrics and look more into his stats production lines up with his snap percentage. All right, so go year by year. If he's playing more snaps, he's getting more production, which makes sense, right? But that's exactly what you want to see. You don't want to see a guy that plays 12 games in one year and then has the same production when he's playing 16 games another year. Right? You like to see that when he's on the field, his production is steadily, basically staying the same per his time on the field. Now, the issue with his snap percentage is that this is a guy that's never played all the games in a single season, whether it was 16 or 17 game seasons. He's never played all the games in a single season. But again, the consistency that he brings is something that is useful for any team. And that's why veteran players are so useful, is because they get to a point in their career where there's, usually a 3 to 4 year window where it's just going to be consistent output. Like at some point, they are what they are, and they're going to be consistent until the drop off starts to happen. And if there's one thing this Colts pass rush has needed for years, it's consistency, man. Just consistency from somebody. We have Quiddy Pay and Dio Dangbo. Samson Ebicom's coming in this year. Then there's Taekwon Lewis and Al Qadim Muhammad, like guys that we already know. But at the end of the day, like, which of those guys is consistent, right? Which of those guys is consistently in the lineup, right? Like injuries take a toll, right? Which is why we need a deep rotation. And another reason why I think Derek Barnett would be valuable, right? And he also brings value in special teams. He plays different parts of special teams throughout his entire career. He's had special teams snaps percentages. So in the NFL, really in life, the more you can do, the more value you bring. So the fact that he can do multiple things is just another reason why I think this is something that we should at least entertain, right? Because you're going to be getting a guy who has that consistency. And this is a guy that was on the 2017 all rookie team, right? This is a guy that's been a champion. He won a championship with the Eagles. He's been back to the Super Bowl with the Eagles. So he understands the kind of work that it takes to get to that point. He understands how much it goes in to a team and what it takes for a team to really be cohesive and be able to make a run like that. And having people in the building like that is invaluable, right? Like guys that just can share that kind of insight with the young guys is invaluable to the future of the franchise, right? Not only does he have that championship mentality coming from there, but he has that dog mentality. Like, sure, Nick Sirianni gets made fun of a lot, and a lot of people don't like Nick Sirianni, but that Eagles team is full of dogs, man. Like, and Derek Barnett, if he was there and they kept him on the team as long as they have, like, he must be a dog. And we need dogs, man. Like, that's one thing that was apparent in 2022. This Colts team just didn't have enough dogs. Need more people with that dog mentality. And having Shane Steichen come over is a good start for that, right? Bringing some of that dog mentality and having the guy another guy coming from the Eagles and Derek Barnett would just add to that. Okay, so then you look at what would we trade, right? Maybe it's Jonathan Taylor gets traded for Derek Barnett and a third round pick. But if we're going to keep JT, maybe it's a fifth round pick for Derek Barnett or a fourth round pick. Maybe that would be enough. If that's not enough, maybe it's a third round pick, right? Like what would you think would be fair compensation for a guy like Derek Barnett? Again, this is a guy that's getting, when I went and looked at his stats, right? If he were to play every game in a season, you're looking at 8 sacks maximum, looking at probably 5 or 6 tackles for loss. But his hurry percentage and his pressure percentage are both going to be high enough to make an impact, right? Like he's at least making the quarterback make quicker decisions if he's not getting home, right? So the way I kind of think about Derek Barnett is unique Ngakoue light in a way. So with that in mind, what would you value? How would you value a trade for Derek Barnett? You let me know down in the comments section. Okay, so at the end of the day, the way I see it, man, is if we can get after the opposing quarterback this season, that would give Anthony Richardson and the offense plenty of chances to be able to put points on the board. And in my opinion, this offense, as long as they have the ball in their hands, they're going to be able to put points on the board. So this could be an opportunity for the defense to be able to kind of make up for what you lack in the secondary and getting a deeper rotation at pass rush and getting better at pass rush. A guy like Al-Qadim Muhammad might have to bite the dust if that happens, but like we got to get a better pass rush. We have to at some point, right? And if it's not Derek Barnett, who would you suggest? Is there anybody that you know of that maybe we should go after? Maybe I look into Chase Young. If you think we should look into Chase Young, go ahead, comment down below, and I'll try to put that together. All right, but until then, make sure you subscribe with notifications on to keep getting videos. Again, with the whole hurricane thing coming up, not sure how videos are going to go, but of course, we'll get things to you as soon as I possibly can. So with that said, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.